College? Classic? Did you say college classic campuses? Well, sure you did. We're reading Erwin W.Lutzer's, and we're doing a good job of this, and we're enjoying it. God's Devil. God's Devil. Okay, now, we don't have permission to read the whole book. So what we do is we just read part of it or half of it, and then we move on to the next books. And I hope you're enjoying this. God's Devil. Forwarded by R.C. Sproul. Now, if you've read any of R.C. Sproul's stuff, and I've done 9-month studies on R.C. Sproul twice. Excellent stuff. Excellent table talk. I love it. So let's finish this last chapter and move on to our next books. So we are almost done here with this chapter. We have about 3 pages left on chapter up to chapter 3. Then I'll move on reading this book on my own, and you can pick it up and read it yourself. So we left off I will raise my throne above the stars. Elsewhere, we learn that the stars are often symbolic of angels. A lot of people don't know this, but when you study Abraham and you study the Word of God, you'll find out that for each and every star out there is created a human. And I didn't know that, but that's the truth. Each and every star out there has created a human. Job 38:7. Lucifer already had authority over them, but it was a delegated authority. He longed for independent power. He wanted to be worshipped and feared. Weary of taking orders, he now wanted to give them according to his whim rather than God's plan. Lucifer wanted to be and wants to be God. How stupid. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Anybody wanting to be God, Allah, Eli. Stupid. Okay. So I will sit on the mount of the assembly and the recesses of the north. Basically what he's saying is that I'm going to rule the 7 golden candlesticks. I'm going to rule the Muslims. I'm going to rule the Islamics. I'm going to rule the Christians. I'm going to rule the Catholics. I'm going to rule Jara. I'm going to rule Tiki. I'm going to rule Hare Krishna. I'm going to rule the Buddhists. I'm going to rule the Hindus. You get that? I'm going to rule atheists and devil worshippers too. I don't care. I don't stop there. I see God. He only wants to rule the 7 golden candlesticks and those that are willing to come. Not me. I want it all. So, he says, I will sit on the mount of the assembly in the recess of the north. A mountain frequently is symbolic of the kingdom of the nation, Isaiah 2:2. Lucifer longed for God's authority to rule over a kingdom. He was obsessed with having a dominion of his own. More accurately, he wanted to steal territory that belonged only to God. These are the 7 golden candlesticks. And he wants to steal them. He wants them for himself. Isn't that majestic of him? I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. God's glory is manifest in a cloud, Exodus 16:10. And the Shekinah glory represented the very essence of God's presence. Lucifer wants to be above the clouds, even above the glory of God, if he could. The Shekinah, or this Shekinah glory. So, I will make myself like the Most High. How's he going to do that? Well, how do you think he's going to do that? He's going to come down unto the humans and proclaim glory before them. And finally, his heart is revealed. He would be like God. if it were possible. He saw the glory and honor that God received, and now he wants it all for himself. To be worshipped will be his consuming passion, as in the Garden of Eden. Please note that his desire was to be like God. That's like saying, I want to be like Feinstein. Right? Get a job working with Feinstein. Copy everything Feinstein does. Then what? He saw the glory and honor that God received, and now he wants it all for himself. To be worshipped will be his consuming passion. And please note that his desire was to be like God, not to be unlike him. Ironically, this arrogant desire would make him as much unlike God as it is possible to be, rather than to be like God. Until Lucifer's blunder, there was harmony in the universe. Every will created by God was obedient to the divine will. God was the ruler, and his creation responded to the divine initiative. But from now on, there would be opposition to God's instructions. Lucifer would recruit other angels in his assault on God, and then the human race would join those angelic hosts in rebellion. Rather than one unified plan in the universe, there would now be millions of plans, each of them driven by personal ambition. The rule of God would be opposed at every quarter. What a colossal error in judgment Lucifer made. He rolled the cosmic dice, not realizing that the word success had never been written on them. The moment the idea of opposing God entered his mind, he was doomed to fail. And that's strange because, yes, the word success actually is inscribed into the hearts and minds of each and every single person born upon this earth. But Lucifer was never born on his hoof feet, so he couldn't have came from this creation. Even if it were animals who were successful, he would have been very, very much a failure. Some say the word infallible might come to mind where humans are concerned, but not true, because we see a lot of them falling, especially today. Here was a being who knew God and yet did not believe that God's ways were best. Here was one who was not concerned or content with serving God. Here, you'll find that one. But rather wanted to be served. Okay, we want that when we go to a restaurant and all that. We want to be served, looked upon, we want to be treated well, and we want to tip good. He doesn't even leave a tip for God. But alas, he still serves. So we know that God says, Christ said, I did not come into the world to serve the righteous, but the lost. This is College Classic Campus Hits.